Good evening, everyone. You are in the spotlight with Brian Garner for this Wednesday, November the 15th, 2017. Good to have you all here for our second of two shows this week, the special Wednesday show. Again, we're not having a show tomorrow, so we shifted the schedule this week a little bit. So tonight is our second show of this week. And, of course, a special wrestling show. We're previewing WWE Survivor Series tonight. So if any of you out there haven't submitted a question or comment yet about wrestling that you'd like to submit, you can still do that. Even though the show has started, you can do that during the show, and again later on in the show, when we get into some questions and comments, we'll pick your question or comment if time permits. So if you haven't submitted one yet, you can do that by email, Facebook, and Twitter. Of course, you can always contribute to the show by email, Facebook, and Twitter. The email address for our show, itspotlight411@gmail.com. Of course, you can always follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Remember, use the hashtag ITSpotlight411, or as this is a wrestling show, you can always use hashtag ITSWrestling. We haven't used that one in a while. I keep forgetting to mention that to you all sometimes, but I'm mentioning it tonight, so that's good on me. And of course, on Facebook, you can find us as well. Just search for In the Spotlight 411 on Facebook, and then make sure that you like our fan page once you're on it, or once you find it, I should say. All right, so again, here we are for our second of two shows this week. Again, no show tomorrow. I have some place I have to be tomorrow, and I'm not gonna be able to do the show. So, well, I mean, I might have been able to, but I don't want to play games, and we run late enough sometimes as it is. So I didn't want to really play games. I decided it was just better to switch up the schedule this week and do the show tonight. So that's why we did that. But nonetheless, this is our second show of this week. And again, as I mentioned yesterday, next week we're only going to have one show. That show will be on Tuesday, which is the 21st, and that'll be at 9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be doing a lot. We'll talk about the fallout from WWE Survivor Series, from Monday Night Raw, from SmackDown. We'll do some sports stuff. We'll do some entertainment, box office, BTV. We got a full show on tap for Tuesday. So that will be a very jam-packed show, so you want to tune in for that. And that'll be our only show of next week, because next week is Thanksgiving. So obviously we will not be doing a show on Thursday. Obviously in the past, we've sometimes done shows on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. This year, we're not even going to attempt that. So don't even think we are. We aren't. So next week, only show will be on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time. That will be our only show of the week. And then the following week, we'll be back to our normal schedule, Tuesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And I've had people ask me about, you mentioned changes and all these things going to happen. It doesn't feel like things are that much different. We've changed a few things. It's very subtle, but you know what? It's been hard, and for one reason. It's been hard because things have popped up, and it's been hard because, the whole idea behind doing different things was to try to get it going in October, and we were just unable to do that. It was just very, very hard to get some of that stuff done. So once we got further into November, once you get to the holidays, it's just too hard. You look at in the past when we've usually done significant changes to the show, it's usually been in January, September, or September, October, usually in that vein. So it's just easier because once you get to the holidays, people are in and out, and so it just makes it too hard. But that's why we haven't really done too much. So that's why, you haven't seen more significant changes. So, probably after the holidays, we'll introduce more of the changes that I was talking about. It's just not the right time, it's just not a good time to launch something new and different and all that kind of stuff. So for those who've been wondering, that's the reason why we haven't done more than we have, other than really subtle changes here and there. All right, so again, tonight, an all-wrestling show. We'll be previewing WWE Survivor Series pay-per-view, which is taking place this Sunday on the WWE Network. It's going to be starting at 7 Eastern time. Of course, they have a pre-show. I think that starts at 5. It's either 5 or 6. So it's a long pay-per-view. It's one of the big four. So, they run longer pay-per-views when they do that. So it's a little bit of a longer pay-per-view, but it doesn't have a whole lot of matches. It's just got again, it's Survivor Series. You got Raw versus SmackDown. It doesn't have a whole lot of matches, but you got those 5-on-5 matches, but they're going to take up a good amount of time. So, but it looks like a good card. And it's a card that's gone through a lot of changes Good changes, I think. And we'll talk more about this later because we got a lot of questions about the way WWE built up to this event. We'll talk more about that later. But it's been interesting to say the least. So we'll do what we usually do. We'll preview all the matches, make predictions, and what time we have left. We'll do questions and comments, and that will be it. That will be the way to land here for tonight. And then again, tomorrow there won't be a show. So we'll do that. And Mike has joined us. Mike, you're in the spotlight.
This is a quick turnaround, and I do not support it.
I've told you about it, but hey, you get tomorrow off, so shut up. I mean, it's a quick turnaround. I don't really like it either, but circumstances are circumstances. But it's a wrestling show. You like those. You should be in a good mood. You like those shows.
I'm super tired tonight, so I'm not.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we'll go over the matches, we'll do all that fun stuff, and do some questions and comments. That'll be the show. So, it's a wrestling show. They don't usually they're not usually overly long, but, we do them, and we usually try to do them all. We usually try to do these wrestling-focused shows if we can. People like them, so that's why we do them. So, all right, so let's get into it right now. As I pull up the card here again, not a lot of matches, but wow, that made a weird noise. Ooh. That was a really weird noise. I don't know what that was. Okay, there it is.
I was getting a message.
Yeah, no, I know that was you. I was talking about something. There was something else. I think it came from my computer has been. It's that time of year when you get all these random updates, and then your computer is just pretty much in like unable to be used for like a half hour. I've been dealing with that like all week, and it's really angering me because it happens at the worst possible times, like either when I have to leave or when I'm about to do something like this show. So it has not been good to me this week. But anyway, I think it was something to do with that, and it was something to do with that. So yeah. Anyway, let's get down to it. We have a pre-show. I believe they announced the pre-show match was Enzo versus Cruiserweight Champion Enzo versus Kalisto. I guess that is the pre-show match that I heard announced. It is. So I will take that match first. So, look, I know some people are criticizing the decision to put this match on the pre-show because they're like, "Oh, you got all this time to fill. Why wouldn't you put it on the actual main card?" Well, again, 5-on-5 matches are going to take a while, and there's probably going to be some other things going on. So the thing is this match is a match that we've seen before. Okay, I mean, we've seen it before. It's not something that I think needs to be in some special position on the card. And because it's an Enzo match, it ain't going to be that good of a match. Okay. And Enzo's probably going to retain. So putting on the pre-show, not necessarily the worst decision in the world. It'll get a few minutes, get like 8 minutes or so. And, Enzo will cheat to win and the feud will continue because they really, until they introduce Hideo Itami, which is probably going to be the challenger once they get done with Kalisto, I really don't see Enzo losing the title. So, at least that's the speculation. So, yeah, Enzo will retain here. Not clean, but he will retain here in what should be a short, sort of ugly match. Mike?
I really, really, really want to say that Kalisto is going to win this match. Because Kalisto is probably the correct decision, but no, we got to go with Enzo. Is the total trash.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be short, despite what Kalisto of what Enzo do. So here we go. We've got to run this match. Enzo's going to retain by crook. Go on from there. Another DQ finish. Who knows? But Enzo's going to retain. It's unfortunate, too, because there could be so much more things we could be doing with the Cruiserweight title. For instance, right, is probably the next best promo guy in the Cruiserweight division, and spoilers, all.
Yeah.
So
All right, so we're both going with Enzo. Pretty predictable match. And it's the only, I believe it's the only match on the card that's not like a Raw versus SmackDown match. So it makes sense you'd stick it on the pre-show, for that reason alone. But all right, next up we have Raw Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Sheamus versus SmackDown Tag Team Champions the Usos. Mike?
All right, and here's where we kind of have to pay attention to which brand wins which matches. SmackDown has to win a solid. They have to win some of these undercard matches. There are some matches in which SmackDown isn't going to. It's one of those matches where SmackDown probably wins. It is probably going to be a cheap roll up victory because they like Sheamus and they tolerate Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
Are going to win. Is going to be one of those underrated matches. I think that this match could be really, really good. It's one of those sleepers. So it'll be fun to watch. I'm going to say the Usos win via like roll up or something. SmackDown's got to win somewhere. This is one of those places where they'll probably win.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. This one's an easy call for me. It shouldn't be an easy call, but it's an easy call because you got to let SmackDown win some of these matches. They've always been high on the Usos. They've always been, you know that, whether they're heel or face, they've always been high on them. I think I do agree. I think this is a sweeper as far as a match is going to surprise some people. It'll be very physical, and you know there'll be enough. I mean, the Usos can do some cool spots too. I think this will be a good match, and I think they'll give it. Obviously, on this long pay-per-view will get a little bit of time, even though again they're going to probably save some time for the 5-on-5 matches. Yeah, the Usos I think are going to win. I don't think they're going to even win by roll up. I think they're going to win by pretty convincing. I just think they're going to pin Cesaro. They're not going to pin Sheamus. But
duh.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I just think they're going to be a little bit more definitive about it. I think there's going to be a. Go ahead.
No.
No. Okay.
No, I don't think it's going to be definitive at all.
But I think we can both agree the Usos are going to go over here, and I think it'll be a decent match. I do. I think it'll be a decent match. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think SmackDown wins out in this one. I think it'll be the Usos here. Then we have Intercontinental Champion The Miz versus United States Champion Baron Corbin. This one pains me, but I think Corbin's going to win this match. I think SmackDown's going to win 3 matches, and I think it's the tag match with the Usos and Cesaro Sheamus. I think it's this match, and I think it's the Charlotte versus Alexa Bliss match. Those are the 3 I think they're going to win. This one I think is going to be a protected kind of finish. I think Corbin will win, but I'm not sure how he'll win. I don't think he's. I mean, see, the Miz is kind of like you can have Miz get pinned and still be okay here. You can. I mean, theoretically, Miz can take pins. The problem is that you booked Baron Corbin so badly that I don't know if I would necessarily do that. Like if this were any other, if somebody else was United States champion, I might not have an issue with it. But because of the way they booked Corbin, I think it would be bad for him to pin the Miz clean because of that. That's the reason why it pains me to say it. But and I think they're going to have him pin him clean. Not pin him clean, but I think I think there's a chance they do that. Not a good one. I'm hoping not a good one, but I think there's a chance. Only because they might think, oh, well, Miz can take a pin and be okay. So, but I'm kind of leaning in the direction of having Corbin play dirty here and winning it that way. Only because of the way they built up the feud on social media, and that I think Corbin will just, because Miz is going to try to be resourceful and he's going to try to use every trick in the book. And I think these two are, because it's essentially a heel versus heel match, I think these two are going to try to one-up each other in terms of trying to steal the match, and then Corbin just does something to just win the match. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I see it happening is, Miz just keeps escaping him, and then Corbin, maybe, does something without, maybe a turnbuckle thing. I don't know. He'll do something that I think is going to be underhanded here. That's the way I'm seeing it going. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Miz get pinned cleaner. Either way, I think Miz is going to lose here to Baron Corbin. Mike?
This match could possibly be a DQ. could possibly be one of those DQ kind of finish matches. I think Sin Cara had won on Tuesday. A no-brainer.
Yeah.
Sin Cara, I actually kind of thought Sin Cara was actually going to win on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see the show, but I thought Sin Cara was probably going to win because they like having that clear dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I agree with you. Baron Corbin's going to win one way or the other. I think it might be by DQ. Miz one of these guys that he could take a pinfall, but it's the Miz. He should take a pinfall to Baron fucking Corbin.
Yeah.
He's either going to eat like a roll up or something because they're going to cheat, and the crowd's probably going to get behind Miz. But I think Miz is going to cheat, and Corbin's going to cheat, and Corbin's going to cheat just than Miz. Baron Corbin's probably going to win this one, but this one's hard to call.
Because I saw many emails. What you just said was very confusing, meaning me. Yeah, I know. Let me clarify. I'm picking Corbin to win. I expect it to be dirty. I expect it to be like some kind of, like I said, I think they're going to try to one up each other in terms of like who's going to try to steal the match. I do think there's a chance he wins clean, but I'm not. I'm leaning in the direction that he won't. That's the way I could put it. I know I was kind of all over the place there. Oh, by the way, you said something that I think is definitely going to happen. The crowd's going to be behind Miz. I think that's a given. You know, he's already getting pops. And the way that they booked this with Miz kind of being on the attack and going after Corbin, they've kind of made Miz the face a little bit. So, but yeah, you're right. It's not a clear distinction. If they had Sin Cara in the match, it would have been a clear distinction. But, you know, they don't like to do these heel versus heel matches too often unless it's somebody that's like a tweener, like that's what's like Roman Reigns or Cena or both getting booed. But, you know, yeah. And they're special cases when they do that. Those are special cases because they're supposed to be faces. But whatever. All right, so we both got Baron Corbin there. Next up, let's jump to the 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series elimination match. So Raw versus SmackDown in this match. We have on the Raw side Sasha Banks, Asuka, Alicia Fox, who's the captain, Nia Jax, and Bayley. And on the SmackDown side, Naomi, Carmella, Tamina, team captain Becky Lynch, and now Natalya, after she lost to Charlotte in the championship match on SmackDown, she will take the 5th spot. So, Mike, 5-on-5 women's match.
This one's super easy to call. Raw's winning. SmackDown people, they lose at this point. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. SmackDown women, except for maybe Becky Lynch, but at this point, she's not anymore. Women can eat a loss, period. On the Raw side, Asuka's not losing for the foreseeable future. Isn't losing for the foreseeable future. Alicia Fox is going to eat a pin. Sasha and Bayley, some semblance of protection. Right now, Asuka and Nia Jax are certainly not eating a pin, and they are more than likely going to be 2 of the sole survivors for Team Raw. Which might be a way to get Asuka and Nia Jax just to highlight them. Mm-hmm. So that being said, the moment Asuka was selected for this match, super obvious Team Raw was going to win. Won the title, made it pretty much set in stone. Team Raw is going to beat Team SmackDown, the women's 5-on-5.
I 100% agree. First of all, you look on that SmackDown side, other than, I mean, I know Naomi was champion earlier this year. Only one that really, I think Carmella's got the Money in the Bank case too, but only one that's been booked even representatively in the past is Becky Lynch. And there's times where they don't even treat Becky the right way. So honestly, this to me is going to be a very one-sided match, and I feel bad because I think they're going to give this of all the bigger matches. This is considered a bigger match, and they're going to give it the least amount of time. You know how these multi-women matches have ended up always being kind of like complete rush jobs and over in less than 10 minutes? I expect that again.
Yes.
I expect this again. I think it's going to be kind of sloppy. I mean, I think they'll really try to spotlight Asuka and Nia Jax and, certain people. But really, you're right. This is completely one side, especially now that Charlotte's out of the match. And I think that was part of the reason why they took Charlotte out of the match is they don't want her to take a loss. And they didn't want her in the ring near Asuka or even Nia Jax. There's a match they want to do for later down the road. So, yeah, SmackDown is going down here. And I don't know how they're going to book it. I expect Asuka to be one of the last ones standing. I would be surprised if Asuka, Nia Jax, maybe Sasha Banks are still survivors, or Asuka's the only one standing. I don't know. But I think they're going to look to spotlight somebody here. The only one I can think of is Asuka or Nia Jax, really, but I can see them leaving Sasha Banks in there, too. Or they can make it a one-sided trouncing where the only one that gets eliminated is Alicia Fox, and it's, 4 people left for Raw and nobody for SmackDown. I could see that happening, too. Because you look at
it's a possibility, yeah.
You look at the teams. I mean, it's not even fair, to be honest. So, but yeah, Team Raw is definitely winning this match. No, not a question about it. Okay, what's next here? All right. Next up, we have another women's match. This one, made official by Charlotte winning the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship last night off of Natalya. This will be Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss versus SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, and a match that really is it's a special match because you look at both these women's careers. What Alexa Bliss has done both on Raw and SmackDown, what Charlotte's done on Raw and SmackDown. This is a special kind of match, and I think they're going to treat it as such. I think they'll give it some time. Charlotte's going to win this match because, again, I mentioned this earlier. SmackDown, I think, is going to win 3 matches because if you look at it, then it evens out. Raw wins 4, SmackDown wins 3, and they always kind of like to play it like Raw's a 3-hour show, so you always kind of get 1 extra on SmackDown. And I could see them playing it that way. So 4-3, I think I could see it ending up. And I think this is one of those matches SmackDown will win. If it was Natalya, Alexa would have won it easily, but it's not. And I think that's one of the reasons why Charlotte's in the match. I think it'll be a fun match. I'm looking forward to it. There's a nice build here. Queer face heel dynamics here, and I think Charlotte's got the crowd on her side, obviously, and they did a special moment last night with her and Rick, and I think they'll give it some decent time. I think it'll be a good match. But I think Charlotte will win, and I think people will be surprised. I think these two will work really well together. I know some people are worried sometimes Alexa's not the best in the ring. I think these two will work well together, and I think Charlotte's definitely going to win this. So, Charlotte for me, Mike.
Oh, there's really no doubt. Natalya, I could see Alexa Bliss probably winning this match. If this were Carmella, is probably winning this match. It's Charlotte. So of course, she's going to win this match. I think this match will probably get the most time for all the women's matches. It'll probably get Charlotte and Alexa to go at least 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
A pretty decent 15 minutes. So yeah, that being said, there's not a whole lot to say here.
No.
Definitely going to win.
All right.
Yeah, Charlotte's definitely going to win. I mean, there's nothing really more to say.
Yep, you're good. No, you're good. Next up, we have the Shield versus the New Day. Mike?
All right. I'm assuming this is me.
Yep, you. Yep.
Okay, this is another match that you might think would probably go both ways, but no. 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 It's 100% the Shield are going to beat the New Day. Here's the thing. Day will stay over no matter what happens. They're going to be the top merch sellers, but that fact is the WWE treats the Shield as this revered thing, this revered unit of 3 top tier wrestlers coming together. Brotherhood. And look, the New Day are probably have been the best tag team of the past. The Shield thing that WWE's put together, filled with the next big thing, and how do we even describe Dean Ambrose? The top utility player, and oh yeah, Roman Reigns. So the Shield is treated as something on a whole nother level than the New Day. By a lot. Let's
Yeah.
be honest here.
No,
By a lot. And the reason why I say this is going to be evident in this match. It's going to be wholeheartedly evident in this match. Going to beat the New Day. Match will be good. I think it'll be like a little kind of a spectacle almost. But let's be honest here. It's not even going to be close.
Yeah. To me, the result is not in doubt. What's in doubt is a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to be very interested in where they place this match on the card, because it involves the Shield and Roman Reigns. That you're really interested in where they're going to put it, because they always have to put them in a good spot on the card. I'm wondering if this will be they're going to treat this like the co-main event, which is weird because you got Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, and you got the 5-on-5 match. I'm interested in where they place this on the card. I think that's going to be interesting, but
probably treated as one of the main events.
Yeah, but Roman, you never know. Sometimes they overhype things. Remember what they did with the Roman Reigns Randy Orton match at SummerSlam a few years back? And everybody's like, it's like one of the co-main events, but they stuck it like they acted like it was the second main event on the show, and everybody's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
I could do something similar to this. They'll be like this. There's 3 main events with here.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be one of the 3 main events.
What's interesting about this match, though, is essentially it was thrown together because they really didn't know what was going on with Roman. You thought Ambrose and Rollins were going to be facing the Usos, and everybody was excited about that match because that match had potential too. And I mean, there was just a lot of this had a lot of uncertainty to it, and it just kind of got thrown together. It works, and look, they're both. I mean, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense because how dominant the Shield's been as a faction, but how also the dominant that the New Day has been. So it actually works. I really want
to noting. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay.
The New Day didn't have a match.
No, they didn't.
They didn't have a match prior to the Shield.
Yeah. Hey, this gives them a high-profile match. And the other thing, and look, I think in a lot of ways they kind of earned this with the feud with the Usos, because the New Day was kind of, I mean, they weren't down on the, I mean, obviously they're still selling merch and everything, but they were kind of in the background for a little bit. I think Kofi was off for a little bit, and they were kind of in the background. So this kind of gets them. They've earned this spot, and I think even though they're going to lose, because they're going to lose, it's good for them to have this kind of high profile match, and I'm looking forward to it because I think you're going to see one of the things I like about the New Day is that with that Uso feud, they've kind of brought out an edge to them. There's an edge there. It's not always comedy all the time. I like that they've mixed that up, and I think you're going to see a little bit of that in this match because of how things have been booked and how the New Day has kind of interfered with the Shield and vice versa. I think you're going to see that. I think this will get a lot of time. I think it'll be a fun match. And you're right. I think it'll be a spectacle. But again, the result's not in doubt. It'll get a lot of time, but New Day, the Shield's winning this match. And Roman's going to be the one that wins it easily. So.
No, triple powerbomb and Xavier Woods.
Oh, well, okay. But Roman's going to get like the spear before that. So whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Let's be honest. We know how this is going to go. But Shield's winning. Definitely. All right. Now, if you look at listings, okay, really interesting, too, if you go to www.com, I always like to pay attention to how they position people. Obviously, they got Roman Reigns in the center for the Shield, like in the forefront. They got Xavier Woods in the center at the forefront for the New Day. Now, I know that's really how it should be because he's kind of like their de facto leader. But I always assume that Vince likes to put people in the front that that he views heavily. I always thought Big E would be the one because he's the big guy, and Vince always likes to skew towards the big guys. So I'm kind of surprised that in the picture Big E's not in the center forefront, but whatever. That's the real thing I like to notice. Anyway, you're going to look at a lot of cards, and you're going to hear a lot of people say that they think the main event of this show is going to be Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, and it very well may be. But my gut instinct tells me, and maybe I'm wrong, but my gut instinct is, how are we ever wrong, that this is not going to main event the show, that the main event's going to be the 5-on-5. So based on that, I always try to base this on what I think is going to happen, even though this is the champion of one brand versus the champion of another. And theoretically, it should main event. I don't think it's going to main event because of who's in that match. I think the 5-on-5 will main event. So next match we're going to preview is the match I think will be the co-main event. And that's Universal Champion Brock Lesnar versus the WWE Champion AJ Styles. AJ, of course, just won the WWE Championship last week off of Jinder Mahal in a title bout in Manchester. So obviously we talked about last week, that made this match very, very interesting compared to what it was. Instantly made it credible, after Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman pretty much buried Jinder Mahal. You could see the excitement in Brock Lesnar's face on Monday about facing AJ Styles. And look, Daniel Bryan did a good job hyping it last night. It was a good promo, him kind of being his AJ's advocate and stuff. It was a good promo. This is going to be an interesting match, and I'm really curious because it seems like they're going to treat this match differently than they did Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman, where it was just two, these big forces in the ring with Brock, and then Brock just kind of got not lucky, but was resourceful enough to find a moment, seize it, and win the match. To me, they're going to treat this match probably like the CM Punk match, only without Paul Heyman interfering. I think they're going to treat it like that, where kind of AJ kind of bobs and weaves and kind of, is an escape artist and kind of drags the match out a little bit. I think you're going to see this match last for a little bit. I mean, do I think AJ is going to win? No. Brock's going to win the match. But I think they're going to have a little bit of, they're going to do a little bit more with it than what people are thinking, which is just he's going to go out there, AJ will get a few moments of and then, Brock's going to F5 him. That's it. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to linger for a little bit. So Brock's winning the match, but I think they're going to keep people interested for a little while longer than maybe the Strowman and Joe matches were. So, Mike?
Okay. The Jinder Mahal match is going to be, I think, a straight up just Brock squash, I think you're right. It's going to be like the CM Punk match. Get fairly competitive because they kind of have to. I do not think, however, I do not raise that thought. So yeah, it'll be competitive like the CM Punk match. There will be not. Excuse me. And AJ is going to get a good match with Brock Lesnar. If this were Jinder, this match would have gone 5 to 10 at most. AJ, I think they're going to give that extra time, so expect another match on this card to get shafted with time. This match was probably going to get time. So another match on the card is probably going to get shafted. I'd imagine Sheamus, Cesaro, and the Usos. That could be wrong, could be right. But I think this is one of those matches that you kind of look forward to because Brock was visibly excited on Monday and went out of his way to not bury AJ Styles. His way to put over AJ Styles.
Right.
So, yeah, it's like if Brock Lesnar is looking forward to this match, very different from than the Joe and Strowman matches. But if Brock Lesnar's, if he's motivated for it, that should be something to watch. It should be a spectacle. AJ's always going to go out there and give you a great performance, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Brock Lesnar is going to win this match. Brock Lesnar is just the bigger draw. There is guys on the roster in Vince's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Brock's totally going to win. And there is no doubt about it. but the match should be really something to watch. Lesnar over AJ Styles.
Before we get to what I think is going to be the main event, one of our fans sent me an email, and I thought it was a really good point on why there was another reason why I think the 5-on-5 men's match is going to be the main event. If you think about it, remember how I said I think it's going to be 4-3 in favor of Raw on the night? If you think about this, if you put the Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles match as the co-main event, going into the 5-on-5, it'll be 3-3. So that adds a little bit of suspense to that match. You know, it's 3-3, Raw versus SmackDown. That's kind of been the matches that's gotten the most build and been treated like the main event the whole entire time, like from all the invasions and all that. So I think that would make sense, especially given who's in the match, to have that be the main event. And okay, it's 3-3, Raw 3, SmackDown 3, 5-on-5, so much on the line. Here we go. Makes sense. And plus, that's the one that probably has the most potential for interferences and different things. That's why it makes sense to be that way. But anyway, the match I think will be the main event and will definitely get the most time. The 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series match, Team Raw, which features team captain Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, and now Triple H, who took Jason Jordan's spot in a segment that no doubt turned him face if he wasn't already face. And then on Team SmackDown, you have team captain Shane McMahon. Got his rear end handed to him last night. That was fun. And Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, and gosh, I just forgot. John Cena. How could I forget him? So that's your teams. Mike, go ahead.
It's an interesting choice. Interesting choice of talent in this match. And look, if it was just the talent in this match, I thought Raw probably would win anyway. The extra factors involved, I still think Raw's going to win. Or Rude, Shane McMahon, and Randy Orton. But I think every one of them is going to eat a pin. It's basically who's on the other side. Exclusively who's on the other side. One of the biggest matches for WrestleMania this year is going to involve and Braun Strowman. The guy who's essentially untouchable right now. Kane could interfere and kind of take a possibility. It's a possibility Kane could interfere. And I think of all the matches on the show, this match is going to have the most shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
The most crap happening in this match. There might be a lot of it. It could be a lot of interference. Could be interference, I should say. A lot of could be interference. Kane could interfere. Jason Jordan could interfere. Two guys who I think are guaranteed. And we'll get to them in a minute. Because Braun Strowman's in this match, because Samoa Joe's in this match, I don't think Raw's losing at all. H is on Team Raw. I don't think Raw's losing. It's a vehicle to set up a lot of feuds. And one of those feuds that could be set up for maybe Rumble is Triple H versus Kurt Angle. But I don't think either of those guys are going to screw each other in this. Seeds will be laid in this match. And look, let's be honest here. The only story going on in SmackDown Live involving any of those guys is Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, and Sami Zayn. Rude, Orton, Nakamura, Rude, Cena, they're all just there. Side, you've got things happening. Finn Balor is the only guy who's just kind of like, well, I'm here because I'm not wrestling Bray Wyatt in this pay-per-view, and thank God for that. That's pretty much this. That's Finn Balor. He's just great to be here. And that being said, I think Finn Balor and maybe Kurt Angle are the guys who are probably getting pinned. I think Finn Balor is definitely one of the few guys who are probably definitely getting pinned. That's hard to say because Finn Balor might be one of the guys left. Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to call.
This one's hard to call, but the only thing I can call, Raw is winning this match. The reason I think that is that I think it's going to come down to some combination of Shane McMahon and Randy Orton. And who are not on this card at all, but are going to have the biggest impact are going to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
You saw that there were seeds planted subtly early on in the show when Shane was doing his big rah-rah speech. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the very back, and when everybody was cheering and chanting and excited, they looked annoyed. This is nonsense. They had a range of emotions that went from bored to disgusted and dismayed. On the night where the New Day, who spent all of last week harassing and talking down Owens and Zayn, the Shield comes a calling. The New Day expected the guys they've antagonized for 2 weeks now to stand by their side. It's supremacy. 2 guys who went out of their way saying that the Under Siege was a dumb idea. Who care? And Shane McMahon doesn't care about us anyway.
Yeah.
The New Day expected Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to stand by their Shield came a knocking, and they did their thing around the ring. Zayn walked out, and Sami Zayn did the nicest little toodaloo, like bye guys. And Big E, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston looked betrayed. You guys should have expected this to happen. You literally earned this. You literally earned it. So there's like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have betrayed SmackDown Live. Like, really, Byron Saxton? If you believe they've betrayed SmackDown now, you have seen nothing yet. Their involvement in this match is to take out Shane McMahon and Randy Orton, more than likely. It'll happen closer to the end of the match. If it happens early on, Team SmackDown could have a chance.
Right.
But the longer it takes for us to see Owens and Zayn, likely it is for Team Raw to win. We're going to see Owens and Zayn at the end of the match. And Owens and Zayn are going to take out Shane. They're going to probably take out Orton. It's also one of those things to say Triple H is not going to be eating a pin in this match, more than likely, because he's Triple H. Use this match to build up Triple H for his WrestleMania match. Kurt Angle, who could be Kevin Owens. Jason Jordan, who knows?
Right.
It's probably not Jason. It's probably not Jason Jordan.
Let's hope not.
With all that being said, I've analyzed all that. Brian's going to talk for a while now too.
No, not
Team Raw over Team SmackDown. The team show.
I'm going to be honest here. I'm not going to be honest here. That's the wrong word. Here's what I like about this match. It reminds me of that Survivor Series match a few years back, the one where they had with Triple H and Steph's jobs were on the line, because they really built that one up really well, and there was a lot of layers to it. You had, the authority angle. You had, different feuds involved, different characters. It had a lot going for it, and I think they've done a really good job of layering this match with storylines. You got on the SmackDown side the Owens Zayn versus Shane McMahon feud, which awesome with Randy Orton there. You got that involved on that side. On the other side, you have the Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan thing with Triple H, how he interacted with that. You got Finn Balor and you got Samoa Joe, who have a feud, which I think is going to come into play. And then you got Braun Strowman there, and I think that you have to concern yourself with Kane potentially interfering in the match. I think you're going to see a lot of those storylines come into play here. I've had a lot of things going through my head as to what's going to happen in this match. And, I've come up with ideas for like, well, Samoa Joe kind of screws over Finn Balor, and Finn Balor gets pinned, and Finn Balor comes back and, kind of screws over Samoa Joe. I've had where Kane comes out and kind of takes Braun Strowman out of the action. He never comes back, or Braun comes back late in the match to make the save. I've had those kind of things. Then there's Triple H, and how that will play into it. I'm almost 95% sure Raw will win just because Triple H is in the match. It makes no sense otherwise. Plus, in order to build whatever they're going to build, because they're going to obviously build something with Angle and Triple H here. All right, it makes no sense to have Angle get fired here. And if Raw loses this match, he would be fired, because they'd have the next night, and Triple H be like, you're fired, and that's the way it would work. So I don't think that's going to happen here. I suspect that Jason Jordan will come back and interfere, and maybe almost screw them over. And then next night on, even though Raw won the match, Triple H and stuff, like, you have to fire him because he almost cost us or something like that. I could see that coming into play, something like that. But I do think Raw's going to win. I think it's going to be an awesome match. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of time. It's going to be so interesting to see all these different storylines come into play. If you like swervy wrestling, you're going to get that in this match. And look, Owens and Zayn are going to be involved here. They'll probably screw over Randy Orton and Shane. It probably will be at the end of the match, and I think that'll be the way they kind of get. That's probably how SmackDown's going to lose. Because I could see it being something where either Strowman's been eliminated because of Kane or something, or I don't know. Maybe they'll leave Strowman in there. Maybe they'll leave Finn in there. I don't know what they'll do. But I think Triple H will still be involved there. Jason Jordan will come out and try to make a statement in front of his father or something, and he'll take Triple H out or something like that, or try to take Triple H out, or maybe he'll just turn completely on all of them and try to take Triple H and Kurt Angle out. SmackDown thinks they have a chance, and here come Owens and Zayn. They screw over Randy Orton, they screw over Shane McMahon, they end the match. And, Raw wins. I think there's a lot of potential here in this match. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think there'll be a lot of swerves. There's going to be a lot of surprises. But yeah, I think Team Raw is going to win. And I think we'll have a lot of build for what's to come out of this match, which is cool. That's what you want. Survivor Series, even though they really say the road to WrestleMania begins after the new year, in a lot of ways in recent years, it's come into play. Starting at Survivor Series in recent years. So, yeah, Team Raw. So I think Raw will beat SmackDown 4-3 on this card on the night. I don't think they're going to add any matches. I don't think they're going to do any. They might do a few backstage segments or something, but I don't think they're going to add any matches. I think they got enough to get by here and fill the night. So I think that will be your card. So I think it should be a good night. I think there's a lot of good potential matches, and I think there'll be quite a few things to set up what's to come, especially as you head towards WrestleMania. Let's get to questions now. And I want to start with a question that I think plays into what I mentioned earlier about how interesting a build-up to this pay-per-view it's been, where we had a card early. We had a couple of the big high-profile matches early, and then they kind of swerved us by changing them up from, the Shield going towards the New Day last minute, when the Shield was supposed to Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were going to face the Usos. And using the tag team championship to kind of build up to these matches and build into some of these Raw versus SmackDown matches. The 5-on-5, then first it's Jason Jordan, and then it's Triple H, and the way that they built Charlotte is the champion, not Natalia. The way that they built this up has been really interesting, and people feel like it's on the fly. But here's the question I'm building up towards here. Seeing as how the WWE has built up to this pay-per-view, do you think from now on they might consider doing similar builds to pay-per-views? This has been very unpredictable and interesting, and it's made every Raw and SmackDown since TLC matter, because you never know what's going to happen, and every episode has some weight to it, as you've seen championships change hands, and you've seen high stakes as to who was going to be on the card at Survivor Series. I would hope that they've seen how successful this has been for both their ratings and for their creative direction and start doing builds like this more. Do you think that they will?
Nope.
Look, there were different.
They really want Survivor Series event though this year, so they went by this way. A lot of these title changes were done out of necessity, not because they wanted to.
Mm.
What are you talking?
No, I think you're. Look, they've been building Survivor Series back up for the last couple years. They've been trying really hard with Survivor Series. What I think happened was this: you had a lot of uncertainty. Okay, they didn't know what was going to happen with Roman Reigns. Bray Wyatt. They didn't know if anybody else was going to come up with an injury. There's like the Charlotte match. Charlotte was supposed to win the title a couple months ago. So I mean, I think that there was a lot of different things involved here. The gender thing, I think Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman kind of killed that on their own. I think there was already a little bit of like, do we do this or do we not? And then they killed it. And then I think Triple H has been working all these house shows. He's going to do the India show. I think once they realized that, they're like, you know what, maybe we could put this over the top and put Triple H on the card at Survivor Series. I think a lot of this was kind of like the perfect storm, and they just kind of felt, there were certain things that kind of made it so that they had to do things this way, and then there were certain things where like, let's just finally do some of these things, and they're like, well, cherry on top, let's add Triple H to the match. I really think it was that, and I don't think they're not going to build it like this. All right, this is kind of the perfect storm. I do see what people are saying. It has been a fun build because every episode has felt like there's been something big that's shaking things up, So I think that's cool. But and sometimes you do go through periods where that happens, but I don't think it's smart to do that often. It's not. It's not smart because it's hard to invest. This worked because of the nature of the pay-per-view and everything, but I don't think you could do that all the time. It worked here, but I don't think you can do that all the time. But they're obviously reaping the benefits of rating. It's helped ratings. It's helped direction. It's helped SmackDown. SmackDown, other than Owens and Zayn, was kind of in a rut. This kind of helped that a little bit. But, yeah. All right. Other than the obvious potential swerves, do you think there'll be any surprises like Sting showing up a couple years ago at Survivor Series?
I think a lot of the surprises happened already.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H being a part of it.
Yeah. Cena.
That was probably John Cena. Yeah, I mean that was pretty much it. There might be one return.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, yeah.
it.
I think this is First of all, Cena wasn't really too much of a surprise of all the rumors of him being a referee. Once they got Jinder out of that match, the referee angle wasn't going to be needed. That's why they put him in the match. They probably already got him to commit for Survivor Series, so they figured they might as well use him. I guess if they want to try, if Raw is going to beat SmackDown, somehow Cena's going to have to, get pinned. So maybe they have a surprise there that sets up an angle for Cena. I don't know. Maybe that would be a surprise. That we're not counting on. We keep talking about some of the obvious, like Triple H and Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle and Braun Strowman, Kane, and Owens and Zayn and Shane. But, there's John Cena in this match. I guess they could set up something with John Cena that could be a surprise. That could be. I haven't heard anything, but that could be something. But other than that, and maybe, and I don't think it's, spoiling anything when, all this talk about Paige return. Paige could be a factor in something. Maybe she takes somebody out and enters the match for Raw or something. But that could be another potential one. But that one's kind of been predicted too. So, yeah, other than the obvious ones, I think maybe something to do with Cena could be the only possible thing I could see happening. That's the only thing I could see. I don't think you're going to get like a Sting moment here. Unless Undertaker randomly shows up or something. But, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen to which would be kind of funny.
Too.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of funny. But yeah, because the Survivor Series would be funny. But yeah, I don't see it. Um, let's see what else. Do you think WWE was playing to irony when they had Owens and Zayn roll out of the ring and walk away from the New Day after what happened last week in Europe? That's actually a good one.
It's interesting.
That's
What?
more of a comment than a question, to be honest. But yeah,
Playing to irony
it is
and
kind of ironic.
being sent home away, and then from the New Day, and then they were sent home. Something.
Yeah, yeah.
They walked all the way back to Canada.
Look, I mean, I get what they're trying to say because the whole thing was started because they didn't you know do whatever they're supposed to do in the ring before they left. You know, so I get what's being said here. Like, oh, they just rolled out of the ring and kind of walked away. I get it, but like, it's not exactly the same thing. So I don't know if it's that ironic, but you know,
Allegedly, and
allegedly,
there
right?
are many experts, and there are many like veterans who said, "Look, sense for Owens to kind of go back in the ring anyway. It
Yeah,
would have made no sense for them to roll out, for them to go today anyway, because the New Day had the numbers. Dumb. People
exactly.
are saying that Owens and Zayn
Yeah,
exactly what they were supposed to do.
right. No, no, you're right. Yeah.
What people think.
Um,
And to be fair, there's a lot of misinformation going around about that Owens and Zayn stuff. A lot of misinformation, so just gotta watch yourself.
yeah.
Apparently, there was like, oh, Owens was thrown off loudly on the bus. There was no bus,
No, no. Um,
but
let
that
me.
doesn't mean that Owens being loudly backstage.
Right. Exactly. There's
Pointing that.
there's different things that got kind of, I would assume, got lost in translation. Um, but yeah, look, I don't think they were playing to anything there. I think that was just the smart booking decision. I think it just was smart writing, smart creative there. I thought. You guys have talked a lot about Survivor Series, and oftentimes you talk a lot about pay-per-views, but you don't really talk too much about the NXT shows the night before when they have them. What are your thoughts on this Saturday's NXT War Games Takeover event?
Would love to watch more NXT, but apparently I can't. Um,
Is that because of me?
because we don't watch NXT as much as we'd like to.
No, I don't. I know. I don't.
We're available to.
Yeah, right.
But to be fair, is the most interesting thing that's happened in NXT for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing up the card. I'm bringing up the card now because I mean I'll quickly go over the matches. Cassius Ohno versus Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan, this kind of like big thing that they've been building up in NXT. He's this big, giant fucking bulldozer
Mm.
who is rather clever. When William Regal beat up his tag team partners NXT building, Lars Sullivan will drag his tag team partner outside the building after they lose because of his tag team partner, and then beat up the tag team partner. Him up like some sort of like Samoa Joe. Lars Sullivan's good, and Cassius Ohno versus Lars Sullivan should be a nice, hard hitting match. It should. A lot of people saying one of the best feuds right now in professional wrestling is Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream, Patrick Clark. It's just kind of like freaky mind games angle, and Aleister Black is such a unique character, and the Velveteen Dream is kind of like the polar opposite. People are really excited for that matchup. A lot of mind games going into that. Now, Aleister Black is not going to lose. Interesting kind of dynamic they have. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm listening.
Um, Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano, which is the reason the dark match for the UK Championship. I don't know why that is. Mostly because Ciampa's still out, and he's going to be out for quite a while. So they got to have things to do for Gargano. Interesting, because he's the first American to challenge for the United Kingdom Championship. Few Americans in NXT that like, completely accept this UK champion, to be quite honest with you. But there's no reason Pete Dunne should lose that match. There's no reason. And then you've got like not even going to be close to the main event spot. It might even be the semi-main event. But Drew McIntyre, the NXT champion, versus Andrade Cien Almas, is that there's some interesting things. There's a good chance Drew McIntyre loses the title.
Mm-hmm.
Very good chance Drew, and he just won the title, and he's had a couple of good defenses. But there's a good chance Andrade Almas wins the championship here. So it's worth watching. Then you've got the Fatal 4-Way for the NXT Women's Championship. You've got Ember Moon, Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce with Billie Kay, and Kairi Sane. I think there are three. I think the three likely candidates to win this match is Ember Moon, Kairi, Cross, and it could go any way. That's the crazy thing. You don't know who's going to win that title. Ember Moon's the heir apparent. Kairi Sane just won the Mae Young tournament, so they want to do something with her. But Nikki Cross is super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This is Billie Kay, and a lot of people like Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, but I don't think they take him as like chip level. But you never know because it's NXT. And then we've got War Games. War Games, the Undisputed Era, Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly versus Sanity, which is Wolf, Young, and Dane, versus Kane and Roderick Strong. I'm watching, so I still don't know how Roderick Strong got involved with the Authors of Pain for War Games. Shit, it's going to be a brutal match. And this match is going to go for an exceedingly long time, and I can't even tell you who's going to win. A prediction, I'd probably pick the Undisputed Era. I'd probably pick Team Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish, but look, you cannot discount Sanity. Got the Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong. It's going to be and look, kind of gave you general analysis. I didn't really pick too many matches here, but NXT is super interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to the show, even though I probably won't even be. I'll try to get there late Saturday if we're doing it, but
right. No, I'd like to. I'm very interested in the show. Well, look, one of the reasons why you can't make too many predictions because it's very hard to call. It's very hard to call that pay-per-view. Or that event, I should say. Look, I think it's going to be brilliant. I think the War Games, bringing back War Games, that's obviously going to be a spectacle. I think it's going to be a really good show. Only prediction I think I'll make. I do think Drew's going to retain. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he lost, but I think I'm leaning in the direction he's going to retain. That would be my only prediction. I mean, I would say Ember Moon's the favorite in the women's match, only because of they've been kind of grooming her for a very long time. But it would not surprise me in the least if Nikki Cross won. I think it's one or the other. That's my personal feeling. And as for War Games, I have no clue. I couldn't even tell you. I have no direction whatsoever on who I think is going to win that match. I think it's going to be an awesome match, but I have no idea who they're going to go with there. But it's going to be a good event. It's going to be a very, very good event. And I look, you got to give them credit. They keep upping their game and doing different, unique things. You got to give NXT credit. Okay. Let's see what else is here. There has been a lot of hints lately concerning Daniel Bryan potentially wrestling for WWE again. What do you think the chances are of this happening?
Bryan wrestling for WWE again?
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that he's been saying that he's working to get cleared, and he's been a little bit more understanding of WWE's position. To be fair, he's been understanding of everybody's position. He's been mentioning how difficult it is to get clear with all the concussion things going on in this country. I mean, he's been a little bit more understanding than he was maybe a year ago. And, they've been kind of teasing the tension with Shane. And, even though you didn't see him take the spot, Kane chokes. I think people are reading a little bit too much into it, but yeah. Yeah. So I think people are wondering if the chances have increased or decreased.
I think they've probably increased a little bit, actually. Only because Kurt Angle was cleared.
Yes, I agree.
I think because Kurt Angle was cleared, Daniel Bryan was probably due to be cleared. But the thing is more than willing to kind of take out certain risky moves in his moveset.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Bryan, the reason why I think Daniel Bryan hasn't been cleared already is because Daniel Bryan is probably refused to take 3 moves out of his regular utility. If he stopped doing the damn flying headbutt, doing the damn suicide dive, doing those knees to the outside, I'm pretty certain, with about 110% certainty, Daniel Bryan could be cleared today. Said, I am never going to do another flying headbutt. I'm never going to do another suicide dive.
Yeah.
Told them that right now. I'm pretty sure Daniel Bryan could be cleared. So that's only on Daniel Bryan. I think he'll wrestle again for WWE.
My thinking is this. I think I agree with you 100%. I think Kurt Angle being able to work is probably the thing that kind of like maybe tips this a little bit more towards it being possible. Like I would say before that, I would say the chance were 10%. I think they're more like 25% now. I mean, it's not a big jump, but it's a jump nonetheless. There's also this theory out there, and again, people have been doing conspiracy theories for WWE against Daniel Bryan for 2 years now. Where they're like, oh, maybe they're just teasing him with the idea that he could come back just to get him to re-sign his contract so he doesn't go someplace else. I really don't think they're doing that. Okay? I really don't think they're doing that. I think they'd like him to come back. I think that if they could find if their own doctor, or they could find a doctor that's like, hey, you know what? This could be okay. And he agreed to change his moveset, then I think they'd like him to come back. But if he's not going to do that, then I don't think he's going to come back. If he's not going to change the moveset, he's definitely not coming back. But I think it's two things. I think they can find a well-respected doctor to say, you know what, something bad's not going to happen here. He'll be protected. And if he agrees to change moves, I think they do it. I think they do it in a heartbeat. I don't anticipate that. So, I think it is what it is at this point. All right. So let's do one more, and then we'll close up shop here because as always, sometimes things get repetitive, and I don't want to get into WrestleMania questions. Always around this time you get WrestleMania questions. I like to not to get into those too much until we get to the Rumble. I think we did a couple of them at SummerSlam time too. So, let's see. Let's see here. I had a good one. I just lost where it was. That makes me mad. Very mad. Huh. I don't know why I do it. That's gonna bug me. Oh, okay. Here we are. It's a pretty simple one. Do you think the Jinder Mahal experiment is over?
More or less. More or less, I think it's over. I mean, wasted Shinsuke Nakamura on this,
Mm.
and that's a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura is not WWE champion is a huge problem. The fact that Jinder, he did get a little bit better. He was learning on the job of being a main event player. I think they're going to go back to Jinder. I personally believe that Jinder is going to get with the title for the India tour. But from a lot of people, Brian included, that AJ Styles for now. And that's fine. I don't think the Jinder experiment is over per se, but it's probably over for now. They'll probably get one more crack at it. It's not going to be a long reign. I think title, if he wins it for India, he's going to lose it at Starrcade to make it important.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're talking another long reign through WrestleMania, no, Jinder's not going to do that.
Here's the thing: the fact that they changed that India tour to a one-day event and Triple H is working Jinder Mahal, that was the first sign. In addition, well, the second sign. The first sign was him losing the title. I don't think they're done with Jinder. I think they're going to cool off on him a little bit. I think they're going to kind of push him a little bit. Look, we talked about it. They handled it all wrong. I think if you're trying to make a star and trying to get over in another country, I've always said the best way to do it is to do it with a face. A heel, it's just very hard to do it. And doing it out of nowhere, if they built him up like an underdog face, if they built him up and put him up against top-tier competition and made it like a Cinderella story, that might have done much better than doing it the way they did it. I still maintain that would have been the way to go, but they didn't. And look, to make matters worse, on top of the awful Randy Orton feud, they stick him with Nakamura, and it got, he did promo after promo, and I don't blame him for this. It's the creative team, where he was offending people left and right with the content of his promos. For a good solid month, you couldn't even stand to watch the Nakamura and Mahal segments because of how bad it was getting. And then you try to book him with Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman destroy him on the mic. So it just went from bad to worse. I think you do have to. I almost think you might have to take him off television for a little bit after this India tour. So I think you might have to. Maybe you take him off television, don't bring him back to the Rumble. Have him appear in the Rumble, maybe eliminate somebody of note, and have him have a mini feud with them for a little bit to build him up. I mean, I think that he might need some time away from the company right now. Because that way you kind of get the stink of what happened out of people's minds. I feel bad. Look, Jinder works hard, and everybody says he's a great worker and everything. I think he could be a benefit to you if you use him the right way. I'm not saying don't make him into something at all, but I think they need to take a step back and decide on a solid direction to kind of build him up and go that way. And you're not wrong that they could easily throw the title back at him for this, even if it's a one-day thing, 1-day India event. They might still feel like it's important for him to have it. Right now, I'd say it's 50-50 whether they give him the title back or not. Because I could see them saying, well, AJ Styles is all beat up coming out of the Brock Lesnar match, so it protects AJ Styles if he loses to Jinder right after that match. Like if they have him on the Tuesday SmackDown right after Survivor Series, lose it. Like I could see them be like, oh, AJ was all banged up from the Brock Lesnar match, and that's why he lost. So it protects AJ a little bit, and then he gets it back later in the month. I could see that, but I'm not as convinced as I was, a week ago that he's gonna get it back. And look, I feel bad for him, like I said, but. And look, he got a longer reign than any of us could have imagined. Good for him. Good for him. And hey, at least it looks like we're not gonna get that Jinder Mahal John Cena match. That's good, I guess. So all right. There was a little bit of news today. WWE did release James Ellsworth, which I heard about a week ago. They were going to do that. His contract was. He signed this 1-year contract a year ago. Look, is it a surprise? No. But, look, the guy got to live his dream. He was an enhancement talent, got thrown around by Braun Strowman. He got a cult following. They gave him a few more bookings on SmackDown. He got a couple wins over AJ Styles. Gave AJ Styles a great match for his DVD release. It was a fun character.
The last one, by the way. It's the last match, by the way.
Yeah. Yes. He had a nice little run. He got to live his dream. He said in his tweet today, he got to live his dream for a year. Good for him. He got, and I guess Carmella pushed for him to be paired with her, and it helped Carmella out. And it had run its course. I mean, he was getting, I think on the Europe tour last week, he was getting pretty much destroyed by the SmackDown women's talent all week. It had run its course. There's nothing more you can do. And, they're trying to kind of cut back on some talent. So, because you've seen all the releases lately. So, it didn't surprise me. I heard about a week ago they were going to do it. But good for him. He got a year and a half. I mean, that's good. I know Michael missed the chin.
Braun Strowman throwing him around.
Mm-hmm. And of course, who could forget that infamous match with AJ?
I love the fact that AJ literally let him get 0 offense in.
But hey, look, good luck to James Ellsworth. He'll get booked, and hey, he had a good solid year and a half. Good for him. All right, we're done. We got through everything. That's it for the show tonight. As always, the show might be over, but you don't have to stop interacting with us or contributing to the show. You can continue to have your voice heard. You can send us your comments, your questions, reactions, comments, opinions, things we talked about on the show, things we said, questions about the show, the scheduling of the show, topic ideas or breaking news items related to sports, entertainment, or wrestling that you'd like us to cover. Any of these things, general feedback, any of these things you can do by email, Facebook, and Twitter. You can email us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. Of course, as always, you can follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. And remember, use the hashtag IT Spotlight 411 on Twitter for us. Whenever you're tweeting at us or directly to us or tweeting regarding the show, please use that. It helps us out. And of course, you can find us on Facebook. Just search In the Spotlight 411 on Facebook and make sure that you like our fan page once you're on it. Once you find it, again, follow us on social media. Facebook and Twitter are what you want to follow us on them. Very, very, very important because you get scheduling updates, all the latest news and updates about the show. Also, we post random thoughts on Facebook and Twitter as well. So to have access to all that, you want to make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter so you can have access to all that and more. So on Facebook, just search for In the Spotlight 411. Make sure that you like us. And on Twitter, make sure you just search for at IT Spotlight 411 and make sure that you follow us on there. And you will have access to all that fun, good stuff, important stuff so that you never get left behind in the dust and not know what's going on and what we posted and all that stuff. 2 ways to keep up with the show and look back at classic episodes. You can either stream us anytime on Google Plus and YouTube. Just search for In the Spotlight 411 on both those sites. And when you do, you'll be taken to our show page on both sites where you have access to every episode we've ever produced for Google Plus and YouTube. That's every episode from October 2015 all the way up to tonight's current episode. Those episodes available for you to stream anytime you want on Google Plus and YouTube. Just search for In the Spotlight 411. If you're more interested in listening to us on the go, maybe you just don't like streaming us, you prefer to hear us rather than see us on screen. Or if you're interested in older episodes of the show, if any of that applies to you, check us out on our main host sites, Podbean and iTunes, and search for In the Spotlight 411 on both of those sites, and that will take you to our show pages on both sites. You'll find every episode we've ever done in the in the over 7 years we've been doing the show. So everything from original Blog Talk Radio run way back in October 2010, all the way up to January 2011, all of our talk show episodes from January 2011, all the way up to mid-October 2015, and all of our Google Plus and YouTube episodes from mid-October 2015, all the way up to tonight's current episode. Those episodes transfer into audio format for your convenience. So you got every episode we've ever done in audio format from the in order from the most recent date to the oldest, available on our main host sites, Podbean and iTunes. To access those episodes, just search In the Spotlight 411 on both those sites. So, maybe you just want to listen to us, maybe you missed an episode, maybe you want to check out an episode from 4 or 5 years ago, or check out an episode like that for the first time. If any of that applies to you, check us out again on Podbean and iTunes. And you'll be able to do all that. So Google Plus, YouTube, Podbean, iTunes are your ways to keep up with the show and look back at Quadscapes on Google Plus, YouTube, Podbean, iTunes. Your ways to keep up with the show and look back at Quadscapes. So just search for In the Spotlight 411. Again, just search for In the Spotlight 411 to be able to do that and more. I want to thank Mike for being here tonight. Thank you, Mike.
It is time
for bed. I echoed that sentiment. I'm having a hard time tonight, too. Of course, I want to thank myself and our great show, Parents on my back, and thank all of you for your continued support and contributions to the show. Thank you so much for watching. To those who will be watching, listening to this later, thank you to you as well. 2 shows in 2 days. I don't like to do it, but we did it. We made it. There will be no show tomorrow. Again, no show tomorrow. Our next show will be this coming Tuesday, which will be November the 21st, 9 o'clock from Eastern Time. That will also be our only show of next week. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so there will be no show. Please keep that in mind. So next Tuesday, November the 21st, is our next show and our only show of next week. We'll do entertainment, box office, TV highlights. We'll talk about the fallout from Survivor Series, Raw, SmackDown, all that good stuff. Sports, NFL, college football, college basketball, all of that. It'll be a jam-packed show, but it'll be our only show of next week. And then the week after, we'll go back to our normal schedule. So make sure that you know all that so you all know what's coming up over the next few weeks. So with that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your night, great Thursday, a great weekend, and a great start to your week next week. Stay safe. Enjoy. I may get stuck in winter weather. Be safe. And we'll see you back here next Tuesday, November the 21st. That'll be our next show at 9 o'clock from Eastern Time. Streaming live here on YouTube Live. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody. See you next week.